I didn't notice the sound at first. It was soft, almost polite, a faint tapping that blended into the background of the night. I assumed it was part of the building settling, or maybe something outside. I live alone, and after a while, silence becomes noisy in its own way. The tapping stopped. Then it started again. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. I checked the time. 1:42 a.m. I rolled over in bed and pulled the blanket higher. I had work in the morning. I told myself I was imagining it. But then my phone screen lit up on the nightstand. No vibration, no sound, just light. A message preview appeared from an unknown number. Still awake? I stared at it for a long time before unlocking the phone. "How did you get my number?" I typed. The reply came immediately. "I didn't get it. You gave it to me." A chill ran through me. I sat up and looked around my bedroom. The door was closed. The window was locked. Nothing was out of place. "I don't know you," I wrote. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, then appeared again. "We've met before. You just don't remember the end." I deleted the conversation and turned the phone face down. My heart was beating faster now, but I forced myself to lie back down. That's when the tapping came again. This time, it wasn't from the walls. It was from inside the room. Tap, tap, tap. Slow and deliberate. I held my breath and listened. The sound was coming from near the closet. I stared at the dark outline of the door, half expecting it to open. It didn't. Instead, my phone lit up again. "You hear it now, don't you?" I grabbed the phone. "Who are you?" I typed. The reply took longer this time. "Someone who stayed." The tapping stopped. Silence returned, thick and heavy. I waited, counting my breaths until exhaustion pulled me under. When I woke up, sunlight was pouring through the window. For a moment, everything felt normal. I reached for my phone. The message thread was gone. Deleted. I checked my call logs. Nothing. No unknown number. No missed calls. I told myself it had been a dream. That night, I stayed up later than usual, scrolling through my phone, keeping the lights on. Midnight passed, then 1. At exactly 1:42 a.m., the lights flickered. My phone buzzed. One night isn't enough. I didn't reply. I stood up and turned on every light in the apartment. The tapping didn't come back, but I felt watched, not from one direction, from everywhere. Over the next few days, small things began to change. Objects weren't where I left them. My front door was unlocked when I was sure I had locked it. I would hear footsteps in the hallway outside my apartment door, but when I looked through the peephole, there was no one there. The messages continued, always at 1:42 a.m. "You left the door open again. You shouldn't sleep facing the wall. You used to be braver." One night I replied, "What do you want?" The response came slowly, "For you to remember." That night I dreamed of a hallway, long and narrow, with doors on both sides. Each door painted a different color, chipped and worn. I walked past them, hearing whispers through the wood, familiar voices, my name spoken in different tones. At the end of the hallway was a mirror. I stepped closer and saw myself, but something was wrong. My reflection was delayed. When I raised my hand, it waited, then copied me. I woke up gasping. 1:42 a.m. My phone buzzed. "You're getting closer." I started researching the apartment building. Online records were scarce. It was old, built decades ago, renovated multiple times.
I found a local forum where people discussed strange experiences, noises, shadows, a feeling of being watched. One post caught my attention. People who leave never really leave. Some of them come back. Some of them stay. The username was deleted. That night, the tapping returned, louder than before. It came from the bedroom door. Tap, tap, tap. I stood frozen as the handle slowly turned. The door opened a few inches. The hallway beyond was dark, darker than it should have been. No light from the living room reached it. My phone buzzed. "Don't close it." I stepped back, my heart racing. "Why?" I typed. "Because it's already open." The door swung wider. The hallway stretched impossibly long, far longer than my apartment layout allowed. The walls seemed to pulse gently, like something breathing beneath them. A figure stood at the far end. It looked like me. Same height, same build, but it wasn't moving. "Who are you?" I whispered. My phone buzzed one last time. "The part you forgot." The figure began to walk toward me, its movements stiff and unnatural. Each step echoed too loudly. As it came closer, I noticed its face. It was smiling, but its eyes were wrong, empty, hollow. I slammed the door shut and locked it, collapsing against it as the tapping turned into pounding. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I packed a bag. I was leaving. I didn't care where I went. When I opened the front door, I stepped into the hallway. It was the same long hallway from my dream. Doors lined the walls, each one painted a different color. My apartment door was gone. Behind me, the hallway stretched endlessly. My phone buzzed. "You always try to leave at this part." "What is this place?" I typed, my hands shaking. "A record," came the reply, "of everyone who stayed too long." I walked down the hallway, passing doors. Some were slightly open. I saw glimpses inside, bedrooms, kitchens, people sitting motionless, staring at nothing. One door was fully open. Inside, a man sat on the edge of a bed holding a phone. He looked up. It was me, older, tired, eyes sunken. "Don't go any further," he said. "Why?" I asked. "Because this is where it ends and where it starts again." Memories flooded back. I had lived here before, years ago. I remembered the tapping, the messages, the hallway. I remembered leaving, or thinking I did. "You never escaped," the older me said softly. "You just changed places." The lights flickered. The hallway trembled. Behind me, footsteps echoed, slow, heavy. I turned. The smiling version of me was standing there, closer now. "You can go," the older me said, "but someone has to stay." "What happens if I don't choose?" I asked. He looked at me with something like pity. "Then it chooses for you." The tapping began again. Everywhere. I felt my body grow heavy, like the air itself was pressing me down. The smiling figure reached out, its hand cold as it touched my shoulder. My phone buzzed for the last time. "Thank you for remembering." I woke up in my bed. Morning light, birds outside. Everything was normal. My phone lay on the nightstand. No messages, no unknown numbers. I laughed shakily and stood up, relief washing over me. In the mirror, my reflection smiled back. A second too late. I walked out of the apartment that day and never looked back. But sometimes, at exactly 1:42 a.m., my phone lights up. No notification, just light. And somewhere, in a long hallway filled with doors, someone hears tapping, and thinks it's just the building settling, until it isn't.